One of the decisions the council made, in fact, just before you guys stepped in, was one of the biggest issues probably of the year, which was the trash contract. And they ended up changing haulers, and I know they're going to be saving the city millions of dollars. They went with a company that wasn't the lowest bidder. I'm curious what you two think about the decision to go with the bidder they chose, and what would you have done?
Well, it's
because there was thoughts about waiting till you came on board to make that decision.
Well, it's important to point out from a historical perspective, this process has been going on for a long time. Mm-hmm. If it would have been put in our lap,
right,
we would have done our job. However, the previous council has spent years working on this. They've had years of a pilot automated pickup going on in parts of the city to experiment with it. If people will recall, when we originally started this process some years ago, we thought, well, we knew back then that we were going to be reducing from twice a week pickup to once a week, because that's the standard now. Whether we like it or not, that's the standard. And that the price was going to go up. What has happened since then is that the prices have dropped dramatically. So from my perspective, we went from numerous bidders down to the very finest two. And both of them would have been good results. I mean, you can argue the facts back and forth as to why to pick one versus the other. It was a 3-2 split on the council. I think that just shows you how close the decision was. Right. I think either company, well, I know either company would do a terrific job. They were both terrific companies.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of that decision in terms of the contractor that was selected? I think the city over the life of the contract could have saved $7 additional million if they went with the lowest bidder.
Well, I think it's garbage.
Now, I knew these guys were going to come on and talk trash.
I'm kidding. I am kidding. A little councilmanic humor.
We want to talk trash now. You're trying to boost the ratings on RPB TV.
I have to echo with what Brian said. It has been an issue that has been examined over a long period of time. There was going to be a point where it's going to come down to 1 day a week trash pickup. I remember years ago growing up in RPV, and my job when I was growing up was to take the trash out, and it was every Monday night and Friday night, because it was a pickup on Tuesday and Saturday mornings. So,
I'll tell you, there's a lot of high school students that are happy with this once a week.
But you still bring the trash out, right?
I do.
Just checking on
Well, we're training our kids.
There you go. When I have teenagers at home, I say, why am I carrying this trash out?
No, but I agree with everything that Brian said on that.
Yeah. All right. Big things happening in the city right now. A lot of discussion over upcoming projects, from Annenberg to remodeling the Civic Center. What are your thoughts on some of these big projects the city's talking about right now?
Well, as far as Annenberg, I got to become more familiar with Annenberg as a result of running for city council. And I attended the presentation that was provided by Annenberg down at the Interpretive Center, and came away with a really good feeling about it. I think it's going to be a very positive thing for the city. I think the aspect of the center having educational opportunities and being multifaceted really got me excited.
Of course, for the viewers watching, that Annenberg project is the proposal to put a Discovery Center, Nature Center, whatever you want to call it, at Lower Point Vicente on city land with, really the last, I think, city-front, oceanfront property, right? And that's part of the concern. What are you going to do with this valuable piece of land? But the project presented is to connect it with the Interpretive Center and make an incredible educational facility. You were at that presentation as well. What did you walk away with?
I'm fairly familiar with Annenberg now, and one thing it's important to point out is that it's not going to be sitting right on the cliffs. It's going to be inland quite a bit. So the cliff area, the oceanfront area, is going to be wide open with trails. It'll actually
enhance the trails, right?
It'll enhance the trails. It'll actually be more usable for the public than it currently is. It's important to realize that this is conceptual. There are many, many details to be worked out as we go along, but what I see right now is I'm excited that the Annenberg Foundation has got, number one, key people that live here in Palos Verdes. They understand us, they understand our culture, they understand how we feel about open space and the importance that we put on maintaining that, and how reluctantly we are to develop anything unless it is very well thought out and discussed in the community. So I'm excited about the direction that we're going with Annenberg, and I have no doubt with the sort of fine folks that are on council now that we're working with, and the input of some of our terrific planning commissioners and folks like Jim Knight, who is so concerned about the environment, that we're going to end up with a facility that we all can be proud of.
And what about there's a lot of discussion now going on about improving the Civic Center up here at City Hall, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Liz, conceptually, I think, you know, having a new Civic Center would be, you know, a great thing. I am, you know, being a fiscal conservative as I am, I'm just wondering, you know, down the road, how do we pay for it? I think that's my biggest concern right now. And as I said before, I got on council to look out for the needs of the residents, and I'm going to make sure that their needs are addressed first. If, you know, we can figure out how to pay for a civic center, I think, you know, it would be nice to have a nice civic center. I mean, I've been to some cities that have very, very nice centers with a lot of different amenities and council chambers and offices for city staff. But, you know, my main concern is
Funding.
Funding.
I think the Civic Center clearly needs some updates. I think the maintenance yard that is over there should be moved as soon as possible. It's a tremendous eyesore. I am going to err on being fiscally very cautious until we get a better idea as to what's going to happen with the state. I do believe that the state is going to keep coming to pull more and more money out of the communities. And no matter how well fiscally we've been run in the past, I think that could stress us. So it's really a balance between providing the right sort of facility for our staff to do the best possible job, and funding and state fiscal issues, and that's our job. Our job is to find that balance that's right for the community, that's right for the future. And those are going to be some tough decisions. Right. But that's why folks put us in the job.
We'll stay tuned for that.